is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So the Karl Rittenhouse case is coming to trial, I think, in the next week or so. They're doing jury selection right now. That's going to be tough. If this is something you're not aware of, this is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I think it really intersects well with the culture war that we're going through right now, and when it spilled out into actual war. This is, I think, as close as a genuine civil war as we've ever seen. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more civil war in America. I'm not sure how it's going to fall out, though, right? I'm not sure what it would look like. My guess is not like you would expect. It's always the way. Not like you. Normally, things happen, people just go, oh. Like, look, we saw Afghanistan. It was like a major world event. And most people just went, oh. So there you go. Anyway, so the Karl Rittenhouse case is coming up. We're going to be looking at it. We're going to be looking at stories around it. And again, absolutely fascinating, absolutely fascinating, as it is a real fault point through the Western civilization. How's it going to work out for Karl? I don't know. Could go either way on this one. I hope there is justice, right? That's what I hope. I hope there is justice. But I'm not optimistic. I'm going to tell you why I'm not optimistic in a minute. I'll explain the case. We'll get the whole thing. Before we get into it, can you hit the like button? That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. Can you hit the share button? Even more fantastic. Thank you very much. I do like to be shared. Mostly hit the subscribe button. Now, YouTube noticed my subscribers yesterday, and a bunch came off. Oh, yes, they weren't happy. So, if you're subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed. That'd be really, really nice. Thank you very much. Like, share, comment. Yeah, I really would like to hear what you have to say on this. And if you comment, I will endeavor always to reply. So, the Karl Rittenhouse case. Let me throw up this news article first on the Daily Wire. So the Karl Rittenhouse case. You see him there. So what happened was, this is during the BLM riots last summer. Was it last summer? My years are all messed up. Okay, ever since Corona, I don't know when it was. Last year or 2 years ago. I think it was last year, right? Last summer. That were, I mean, clearly stoked on, instigated to destabilize Trump, right? That was 100% why all this went down. It's like why all this lawlessness went down. So a bunch of local residents armed themselves and went out to protect their community, which is that's one way of saying it. The other way of saying it, which I don't think is true, is a bunch of white supremacists armed up to go and kill black people. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think the evidence is there, but that's essentially what's going on. So there was a 70-year-old man being beaten to death, right, as his store was looted. Rittenhouse came to his rescue, and people died. He shot somebody, and then he had to run for his bloody life as a mob turned on him. A guy came and tried to kill him, literally kill him with a skateboard, like smacked him in the back of his head with a skateboard, knocked him to the ground. When he was armed, Rittenhouse fired. We're going to look at the footage, by the way, of what happened. Rittenhouse fired. The man went down. He killed him. So two people were killed and one was injured. So again, we got the Biden side of the world saying this was a white supremacist with bloodlust in his mind. This is what Trump has done to the world, right? This is what's going on. I think he's a kid. That's the other thing. He's like an 18-year-old kid. Did it? I don't know. And I'm worried for him, mate. I am worried for him. Why am I worried for him? Because I saw the Chauvin trial. The guy who was, I think, convicted for the murder of George Floyd. So that seems strange to me. There just didn't seem to be the evidence to support murder, right? The evidence was, like, for murder, he had to intentionally want to kill someone, and the only motivation they had is that he was black and he's never had any white supremacy. But anyway, let's be honest. There was no, if when that bloke woke up in the morning, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm looking forward to killing a black guy." I mean, I know people think that way, but I don't think that's what happened there. Just because, why would you want to destroy your life that way? But anyway, so he, from what I can tell, Floyd was a fentanyl addict, and his because of the political nature of his death, which was highly politicized and highly stoked that people would start burning down houses and neighborhoods. There had to be a scapegoat. There had to be something. Now, the fact of the matter is, it's weird. If you read the coroner's report, it's not dissimilar to when Dr. Fauci said he didn't do gain-of-function research, right? So if you don't know that, oh my God, we're going down so many rabbit holes. The gain-of-function research is when you take a virus, a chimeric virus, and you alter it to make it more infectious to humans, and you do that to so you know what to do in case of a pandemic. That was the idiot thinking behind that, right? So Rand Paul a few months ago I questioned Fauci and said, "No, Senator, you're an idiot. I've never heard anything as stupid. No." So then a couple of days ago, about 2 months later, the NIH's organization came out and said, "We didn't really do change of function. We just did." And what they said they did was the exact definition of change of function, right? So the same thing happened here. The George Floyd. The coroner report was he gave his full cause of death, describing it, and that description is the exact description of how somebody dies when they have fentanyl poisoning. And then at the end of the conclusion, there's a line added saying, and this was exacerbated by, or something along those lines. Go and read it for yourself. Exacerbated by Chauvin. So probably it wasn't even manslaughter, right? He probably would have died anyway from fentanyl overdose, and probably putting his knee on the back and restraining him after he kept trying to run away had little to do with it. But that doesn't matter. Like, truth doesn't matter. Somebody said this on the Tim Pool channel recently. It's so true. Fact checkers now aren't interested in checking the veracity of facts. Aren't interested in checking if something's true or not. They're interested in seeing if that fact is convenient to the narrative, right? That's why you have things that facts are inconvenient to the narrative, are not reported on the news. The Hunter Biden laptop, and I got to be careful how I say it because I could get banned from YouTube. But the gender fluid, the non-binary person who was just convicted of raping a girl in a bathroom while he was wearing a dress, or they were. I don't know what their pronoun is, but that's not good for the narrative, right? They very much didn't report the allegations of electoral impropriety that very strongly indicated there might be something to investigate in terms of voter fraud, right? They very much didn't report that because that was inconvenient to the narrative. So that's where we are right now. We're looking at things that are inconvenient to the narrative. I'm not sure if this kid's going to get out of this or not, even though he was probably innocent. So yeah, let's read this. And we'll get an idea of how things are breaking down, which is not in a good way. So the judge has just done something pretty darn good. There's a second good thing the judge has done. The prosecutors wanted to call the people who were shot victims. So he said, no, you can't call them not victims, but rioters and looters. Judge rolls up prosecution in Rittenhouse case with argument restrictions. Yeah, listen, it's very emotive to call them victims. It's less emotive to call them rioters and looters, right? Kenosha City Court, County's City Court Judge Bruce Schroeder ruled Monday the prosecutors are barred from referring to the men shot by Carl Rittenhouse as victims. The defense teams were permitted to refer to them as rioters and looters. Again, this is, and the people on the other side of the cultural aisle are losing their shit. They are very, very, very angry. They say, "Oh, look," but they are rioters and looters. How much they do? Like, I wish I understood. I wish I understood the mechanism in somebody's head that will call the January 8th riot, which is what it was, an insurrection, and this not. Like, how is burning down government buildings and police stations not an insurrection, right? And murdering people and causing billions in property damage. How is that not insurrection? And the other one, which didn't do anything near that, it's because Facts are only need to be convenient. They don't need to be true. Judge Schroeder explained to Rittenhouse defense team that they may not refer to those shot in an opening statements, but can do so in closing statement if evidence backs it up. The Tribune reported to the Hill. So that seems reasonably fair. He can demonize them if he wants. If he thinks that will win him points with the jury, the judge said. The word victim is loaded, a loaded word. Schroeder added, telling the prosecution that they can't use the term victim to refer to those shot. According to the Tribune, such restrictions are not uncommon in self-defense case. Again, we're going to be looking at the footage in a minute, and you decide. Prosecutors were frustrated by Schroeder's decision. We don't want truth. We want to vilify someone. We want to get rid of a white supremacist. Okay, it doesn't matter that we're going to, destroy an innocent person's life who was it was a hero trying to save people. It was creating a double standard by allowing Rittenhouse attorney to disparage the men he allegedly killed. I don't think it's allegedly, while not allowing them to be defended. Again, where you have to use accurate terms, right? Not terms that will do best for you. Accurate. You can't lie and call them victims. Right, that guy who ran after him, smashed him in the back of the head with a skateboard, was not a victim. He was the perpetrator. Right, that it is. The terms that I'm identifying here, such as rioter, looter, and arsonist, are as loaded, if not more loaded, than the term victim. But they're also accurate, aren't they? Assistant District Attorney told the Tribune. Okay. On August 2020, Rittenhouse was 17 years old. Oh, God, poor kid. Man, I'm rooting for him. I really am rooting for him. He was arrested for fatally shooting two men after he completely surrendered himself instantly. Did everything right by the looks of it to me. And injuring a third during a protest turned riot. It was a riot. Turned riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He was charged with 2 felony counts of homicide and 1 count of attempted homicide and is facing potential life in prison. Rittenhouse pleaded not guilty in January, claiming he was acting in self-defense. Of course, the media had already tried and convicted him. An organization that was raising funds for legal defense, Fight Back Foundation, published a video last September outlining the teen's actions of self-defense. The video showed Rittenhouse tending to hurt protesters at night of the riot. Normally, people who do this are community-minded people, right? This kid sounds like fantastic, But this is the world we live in. This is I keep saying it, right? And it makes everybody crazy. In my personal life, it makes everybody crazy. This is the end of days. It's not, and I think it's the end of days. The world is completely upset. We have somebody comes and rescues an old man being beaten to death in his store by a bunch of rioters and looters, or rioting and looting because somebody died from fentanyl poisoning, right? Who's been portrayed as a saint, and he uses force to stop them. And he looks like he would rather have not used force to stop them. He's an absolute hero. He's a hero, but in this upside down world, he's a villain. When I remember when these protests happened, a bunch of protesters, rioters, arsonists broke into a gated community, I think in Atlanta, and there was no police there. Police aren't coming to help. A couple of people came out with their own guns to defend their property. They're the ones who got in trouble, not the ones breaking and entering. This is the inverse of right, the inverse of wrong, right? And this is why I think we're at the end of days. Because this is what's supposed to go down, and boy, it's not fun. Pursued by a mob, we're going to be looking at it. Every decade or so, a legal matter arises that holds power to negatively affect the lives of generations to come the rate of pre-festival. Okay, fine. Okay, so fine. We have the broad strokes. So let's start looking at this video footage. And it really goes to show you what's going on inside the mind of the prosecution, of how this works. So this is fine. So we will just play it and listen to it, and it blows my mind, right? It just completely blows my mind.
And if if there were any evidence in this case, and I would love to hear it, because I haven't seen it, if there was any evidence in this case that Mr. Rosenbaum physically attacked anyone else that night, chased anyone else that night.
Okay, so I think Rosenbaum, well, I Rosenbaum's either the guy with the skateboard or the loser, one of the two. Yeah, no, there's no. No, there's no footage of him committing more crimes. That's true. Doesn't mean he didn't, and he seemed like he was up for it. But in both situations, the looter seemed like he was up for it, and the guy with the skateboard. Honestly, we've seen these footage over and over and over and over again of like these like radical leftists that are willing to get violent and want to fight. Right? They absolutely want to fight. Now, this time he fought somebody with a gun and he got killed because he's a schmuck. That's basically what happened. So you say, but we don't know. We have no evidence of him doing anything other than trying to murder your client. He's probably wait. Just wait to see where he goes with it. It's insane.
Assaulted anyone else that night. Threatened anybody with a weapon that night. We can talk about that.
Yeah. There's no evidence he ate any babies either, right? There is indisputable evidence that he he committed this assault, the violent assault. But keep it going.
But I don't hear any evidence to that effect. All we're talking about is arson. We're talking about being loud and disorderly. We're talking about being.
I can't believe some of the things you're saying. I mean, all we're talking about is arson. Come on.
Yeah, all we're talking about is arson. Really? All we're talking about is millions of dollars worth of bad damage, burning down buildings that would probably kill people, right? It's just arson. It's just no. I know you want to pretend these riots were okay. They were kosher. They were wonderful. They were the best things ever. They weren't. And I it's like you look outside your window, you see the sun, and the news tells you it's raining, and they go, "But I can see the sun. It's raining." It's raining. I'm like, no, I can think my bloody self. So anyway, so this is exacerbated a bit. So we're going to now next hear from the girlfriend of the skateboard guy, right? And let's hear her testimony first, and then see what happens next.
We had been being pushed south down Sheridan Road.
Wait 1 second. Let me just scoot that down a little bit. Okay, so just to put this in context, let me shrink this down over here. Let me just put this in context, right? Now I've got to make this bigger. There you go. Let's put this in context. This was, again, purple-haired hipster in a riot, right? Violent purple-haired hipster in a riot. This is what she said happened.
For a while, and we were very close to our house where we were walking, and I was about to say to him, like, let's just go home when we get up to where we live. And before I could even get those words out of my mouth, we hear gunshots a couple blocks up ahead of us.
So again, that was Kyle Rittenhouse coming to save the 70-year-old man who was being beaten to death as his store was looted, right? That's quite an important point.
And for a minute, we were just kind of looking around, waiting to see what would happen. Then people started running like crazy, like in the opposite direction. And then we see Kyle Rittenhouse running down the street, maybe 15, 20 feet away from us. And everybody is shouting that he had just shot somebody, he killed somebody. They were yelling for someone to grab him. Yeah,
listen, we're going to see what happened, but he was being pursued by a mob, in my opinion. That seems to be what's going on with me. It's to me.
And Anthony was just that type of person. He was not going to let an armed active shooter hurt anybody else. And he ran off after him and tried to take this kid down, this kid who was running around waving a semi-automatic assault rifle. And he had nothing on.
Because you were in the middle of a riot, okay? But we're going to see the counter of this in a second.
Man, we weren't armed. We were not armed. We had our skateboards with us, and he still ran and
tried to beat him to death with the skateboard. But again, we're going to look at it in a second.
And tried to take him down, and ended up getting murdered in the process.
No, he got killed in the process because he attacked somebody with a gun. All right, fine. So, wait. We're going to look at this in a second. This is the actual footage of Rittenhouse. Wait a second. This is the actual event, right? Well, not the initial one, but first, Let's just see the other side of the story over here. Go over. Fine. So, where'd it go? Come back. Now I've got to find it again. It's not far down. Bye. This is some insidious shit right there, right? This this is a school board member saying that if you do not dox yourself at the beginning of a meeting, you're not allowed to speak. And if there's any clapping, cheering, applauding, or any anger displayed whatsoever, then they end the meeting. So it's like, yeah, man, fascist city. Where is it? Okay, fine. So the person, the reporter said this. She described it, and now I feel like a twat for including my trivial difficulties. So ending with Hannah Gittings. Her boyfriend was shot dead in Kenosha by Kyle Rittenhouse, who responded to a call to arms on Facebook from a white supremacist militia group. The police were saying, "Thank God you were there." I mean, and that's one of the things that can be entered into evidence. So this guy comes on and said, "This is a lie. This tweet is a lie. The video is a lie. Kyle Rittenhouse was not a mass shooter." I don't think anybody's saying he was a mass shooter. Oh no, she did in the video. It was not a mass shooter. That's a motive language used disingenuously. Anthony Huber was a violent aggressor who attacked Rittenhouse by striking him with a skateboard to the neck and head while Kyle after he was knocked to the ground. Yeah, so that seems pretty bad. Okay, so it's, let's look at the actual footage of the this. Now listen, again, this contains scenes of death. But if you don't want to see, now's the time to go. But so he's running from the mob, right? You can see him. Where is he? You see him right there, right? That's him running from the mob. Yeah, see. So looks like they're attacking him to me, doesn't it? It looks like they're attacking him to me. So because there's no real audio for this. See, look, hey, they knocked a man with a gun to the floor violently in an attack. Okay, but doesn't matter. Okay, fact checkers are only interested in facts that support a narrative. Yeah, don't try and shoot somebody, kick somebody in the head with a gun. Back off. So now this is the incredible. You'll see him follow every pretty much piece of gun safety at this point. All right, he's running to the police and he's about to what's his name? He's about to surrender himself. And man, this kid's being vilified like nothing on earth. The reason we're covering on this channel, this is the cutting edge of the cultural war we're looking at right now, and the trial's starting in about a week from now. But here, let's see. Look, he runs ahead. Hands up. You can see his hands are up. He's presenting himself to the police. He's not trying to evade the police. See, and my heart bleeds for the kid because. Yeah, I won't do the same thing. He thought law and order matters, right? He thought the rules mattered. They don't. They just don't. And again, he's presenting himself, hands up. I mean, like, I don't know, yeah. And, by the way, we read earlier. There was also you've seen him given first aid during this night. He was responding. I think he's a hero, right? Yeah. Defund the police, though, right? Defund the bloody police, because that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know where we are. I hope this kid sees justice. I really do. If he does, though, there'll be riots. They will be riots, and that was a big factor in the Chauvin trial. If he was, if Derek Chauvin was acquitted, which the evidence clearly indicated he was supposed to be, right? But doesn't matter. If he was acquitted, then the FBI was going to arrest him instantly because, the mob has spoken and the mob is in charge. This is the end of days, baby. Okay, I don't know how much more clearer you have to look at this stuff. It's the end of freaking days. And if it's not, then... then we're in a lot of trouble. I hope it's not going to go on for long. I don't think it is. I think we got another 2-3 months of it before things start to get funky. I mean, much funkier. I think we got another 2-3 months. But oh man, speedily in our days. Speedily in our days will this insanity be over. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop.